Mercedes have revealed some of the improvements they will be bringing to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, but the team has also admitted that they need to improve their consistency over the course of a weekend if they want to get the most out of these changes. Last time out in Miami, the team raced half of a new package. This coming race weekend in Imola will see the second half. Trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin stated in Mercedes' post-race debrief film that the components worked as intended at the Miami International Autodrome. On the other hand, he did concede that it might be challenging to observe this improvement on track due to the rapid advancement of their rivals and some ongoing problems with their own vehicle. We managed to pull forward about half of our update kit to Miami, and then the other half is going to arrive in Imola, and we are working hard on the future races to try and bring developments to them as well, said Shovlin. Did it work as expected? Yes, it all looks like it is delivering the performance that we were hoping for from the floor. The issue at the moment is everyone else is developing their cars. So you saw McLaren with a big package, and they look to have moved forward, and also the handling issues that the drivers are having to battle with are making it hard to really see all that performance as a straight sort of step forward. What we tend to find is that the car from session to session can behave quite differently, and until we get on top of that, we are always going to blunt the benefit that we can get from these type of updates. But after the last few races, we have got now a very clear idea of what we need to do to the car to get it handling a bit more easily for the drivers, making sure it goes where they want it to go when they are on those important qualifying laps. And we have also got quite a good sort of thread of updates that will be coming over the next 3 or 4 races. A lot of hard work is going on, but hopefully we will start to see the fruits of that soon. Shovlin has provided Mercedes with his thoughts on how the W15 may perform at future circuits, looking beyond the forthcoming race at Imola. He singles out one track as having a chance to put the vehicle in the proper window more readily. Coming up, we have Monaco, Montreal, and then Barcelona, he explained. You have 2 circuits that are predominantly low-speed corners. Certainly Montreal, it is all low speed. And then you have Barcelona, which with its new layout where they have removed the chicane, is an extremely fast circuit. A lot of mid-speed and very, very, very high-speed corners. So quite a range for us to deal with. We are not expecting we are going to go to Monaco and suddenly be looking extremely quick. But what you can find is that the subtle differences in those tracks can expose those weaknesses a little bit less. If you took somewhere like Montreal, you are only dealing with one speed range. It can be a bit easier to get the car in the window. We all do all the normal preparation work, but fundamentally, we need to develop our way out of this problem by bringing performance updates to the car. That is what we are working on. And then at the track, we will just try and optimize what we have got as best we can, pick up as many points as we can in the meantime. It is really those 2 areas that we are working on simultaneously. With 64 points, Mercedes is presently in 4th place among the constructors' standings. George Russell's 5th place finish at the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix was the team's best race result thus far. Mercedes, the mighty and unbeatable team between 2014 and 2020, have been nowhere near that form in the past couple of years. Many are wondering why, and unfortunately for Mercedes fans, even the Mercedes squad itself is still wondering where it went wrong. But luckily for them, ex-employee Paddy Lowe has laid bare where Mercedes went wrong. Mercedes employee Lowe, 2013-2017, thinks the team misread the existing rules and made some bad aerodynamic decisions. According to the ex-tech director of McLaren and Williams, Mercedes would face formidable obstacles in rectifying such deficiencies. In an interview, Lowe stated, "I have a lot of sympathy, and in fairness, if you talk to teams that are doing well, if they aren't too arrogant, they will say, you should count on having good fortune in this sport when you have a good car, and don't assume it is always from your own brilliance." That is a message that most of us have learned over the years. Mercedes have made some wrong turns aerodynamically. The tools that we use are incredibly sophisticated, wind tunnels and CFD and so on, but nevertheless highly flawed, and all teams will admit this. Therefore, there is always risk you go down an avenue that doesn't work in real life, and then you have to recover, and you can see that has been the case with Mercedes. That is very difficult to recover simply over a matter of time. Your team has huge numbers of people, and all of your machinery for testing and evaluating ideas should be churning out lap time on a daily basis. And if your competitors are doing that, and you have, say, lost 3, 4, 6 months for whatever reason, even if you get back on track, it is very difficult to produce lap time at a higher rate than they are, so you remain with this offset for a long time as you try and claw it back. When I look at Mercedes, This is the situation they are in, said Lowe. Like the rest of their 2024 season, Mercedes' performance at the Miami Grand Prix was somewhat mundane. As a result of his persistent pressure on Sergio Perez of Red Bull during the penultimate stint, Lewis Hamilton will be satisfied with his performance. The team's performance was underwhelming, especially considering the improvements made to the W15 in Florida. Witnessing the triumph of a client team, McLaren, will only serve to exacerbate the pain. Midway through the season, the Brackley team has never lived up to expectations. The zero-pod concept, which was deemed incorrect, was held responsible for their issues in 2022 and early 2023. But in 2024, those arguments won't hold water. An entirely new aerodynamic platform makes its debut this season. Theoretically, James Allison and his technical team were supposed to be able to connect better with this new attitude. That was obviously not the case, much to the German builders' disappointment. Their baseline is unstable, and their improvements don't even come close to producing noticeable performance gains. In 2024, the famous story of experimenting with setup made a triumphant return. After the Miami Grand Prix, George Russell said that Mercedes needed to accept that it was now fourth fastest, suggesting that a change to the vehicle concept for 2024 had a similar effect. George Russell is of the opinion that, despite the introduction of improvements, Mercedes will be unable to contend for wins or even podiums going forward. Russell thinks the Woking-based team has discovered its development route, since McLaren has improved tremendously since a series of changes started at last year's Austrian Grand Prix. However, it demonstrates potential as well. McLaren qualified P17 and P18 12 months ago in Miami, and today they won, he said. So it shows what's possible when you get things right. But right now we don't have things right and we need to make changes quick. We do have a few things coming in the short term, but nothing that is going to transform us into race winners right now, he stated. I think we have to accept that we are the fourth fastest team at the moment. The lap times and the championship don't lie. This is where we are, and I think we're fighting for the P5, P8 region week in, week out now. And when we questioned team boss Toto Wolff for a concrete timetable, he said that the W15 upgrades are still a few races away and declined to give us one. I think we know what we do, and in terms of what you're bringing to the car, you can't really rush it, he said. Because you've got to get to the point where you can say now it's good to be released into production. And once that part comes, or once it's coming, they need to be sorted. So this is a matter of many weeks. What do you think? Will Mercedes find their way to the front and finally give their fans some joy after all those years of failed improvements? Or will they fall even lower on the standings? Let us know in the comments down below.